Hi there, welcome back. So today we're looking at the terrain datasheet cards for the Battlezone Manufactorum. So as far as I'm aware, all of the Battlezone Manufactorum stuff is out now, and these are the cards that go with them. So what have we got? We've got 9 terrain datasheets, 9 tactical terrain datasheet cards for use in tactical deployment games. So we'll look at those separately. We've got a Battlezone Manufactorum rules card, 1 agendas card for use in crusade games, and 1 theatre of war card for use in narrative play and open play games. So in this pack we get a whole bunch of A5 size cards, and what we'll do is we'll go through them. We'll come back to the agendas cards. We will come back to the theatre of war cards. We'll go through the terrain cards first. So we'll have a look at the terrain data sheets, and then we'll look at the tactical terrain data sheets afterwards. We also get one nice looking card just for the artwork, which is cool. Okay, so let's start by looking at the thermopipes. So this terrain datasheet consists of the following pipe sections, then it does a list of all those different pipes. Before you set up this datasheet, you must create 2 thermopipe terrain features by connecting pipe sections end to end, shown under the pipeways rule. And you find that out. It's got the Battlezone Manufactorum abilities card, and that information is in here. Then it's got a little bit more information, blah, blah, blah. It's classed as an obstacle, which you can reference in your 40k app or in the core rulebook. Their terrain traits are defensible, defense line, difficult ground, heavy cover, light cover, and unstable position. And in narrative play, it also has the ability overheated regulator. Each time an enemy unit ends a charge touching the thermocore regulator pipe section and within 2 inches of a unit from your army, roll a d6. On a 4-up, it suffers d3 mortal wounds. And for those of you who may not know, this is what the terrain elements look like. Next up, we've got the Thermo Exchanger Shrine. Which is currently available in the Vertigus box and in the Command Edition of the starter sets. And that terrain looks like this. This terrain datasheet consists of 1 Thermo Exchanger Shrine terrain feature. It has 1 pipeway access point, which is here, shown on the reverse of this card by the blue key line, which you can see here. Oh, sorry, I showed you the wrong side, so it is there. This terrain feature is on your battlefield. Use the terrain category and terrain traits shown below. So it is classed as an obstacle, and it has the terrain traits inspiring, obscuring, and an unstable position. In narrative play terrain abilities, it's got thermal suppression field, which is an aura ability. While an infantry model is within 6 inches of any terrain features with this ability, each time that model would, as the result of an ability of this weapon profile that contains the word supercharge, suffer any mortal wounds or be destroyed. Roll a d6. On a 4-up, it isn't. And then it's got explosive backlash, which is another aura ability. While a vehicle model was in 3 inches of this terrain feature, when a model explodes, add 2 to the number of mortal wounds. Okay, then we've got the auto choral transmitter, which looks like this. This is currently only available in the Vertigus box. And again, it has the information here, such as the pipeway access points, which it's got on the front there. Funnily enough, the pipeway access point on the previous one, it says it's only got 1, but there is actually 2. Okay, so this is also an obstacle. It has the terrain traits inspiring, obscuring, and unstable position. It has broadcast for narrative play terrain. For narrative play, it has broadcast augmentation. At the end of your movement phase, you can select 1 character unit from your army that is within 1 inch of any terrain features with this ability till the end of the turn. While that unit is within 1 inch, add 3 inches to the range of that unit's aura abilities. It also has icon of the Omnissiah's Might, while an Adeptus Mechanicus unit within 6 inches of this terrain feature. Each time a combat attrition test is taken for that unit, ignore all modifiers. Then we've got the engine shed, which looks like that. There's actually 4 pieces to this terrain. So there's the 2 main parts, and then it's got 2 smaller cover parts. Again, it has the pipeways access points, and it has 1 on each of those 2 pieces. So this is classed as an area terrain feature. Its footprint is shown on the reverse of this card with the yellow line. So it has the terrain traits breachable, defensible, light cover and scalable. In narrative play, it has engine maintenance. At the start of your command phase, if any friendly infantry units are within this terrain feature, you can select 1 vehicle model from your army that is wholly within this terrain feature to be repaired. That vehicle model regains up to D3 lost wounds. Each model can be repaired once per turn. And it is actually quite a large space, so you will be able to get some terrain, a vehicle in there. It also has elevated fighting position. This terrain feature has an upper floor marked by a red key line on the reverse of this card. Each time a model that is on the upper floor makes a melee attack against a unit that is not on the upper floor, a reroll or wound roll of 1. Then we've got the sub cloister. Which is this terrain here. So again, it connects the pipeways. It is also an area terrain feature. Again, the yellow line showing that. It also has breachable, defensible, light cover and scalable. Narrative play, it's got crumbling basement. During deployment, if this terrain feature is wholly within your deployment zone, you can set up 1 infantry unit from your army that has 10 or few models in this terrain feature's crumbling basement instead of setting it up on the battlefield. If you do, in the reinforcement step of one of your movement phases, you can set up this unit wholly within this terrain feature. When you set it up, roll a d6 for each model you set up on the battlefield. For each roll of a 1, the model that was set up is destroyed. Then we've got the storage fane, which looks like this. Once again, it's got the pipeways access point. It is a area terrain feature with the yellow line denoting the area it has. It is breachable, defensible, has light cover and is scalable. In narrative play, it has ammunition storage. At the start of your shooting phase, you can select 1 unit that is wholly within this terrain feature. Till the end of that phase, up to half the models rounding down in the unit that are equipped with the grenades can resolve attacks with them instead of just 1. In addition, each time a model is wholly within the terrain feature makes a ranged attack, reroll hits of 1. Oh, that's amazing, actually. So you could have loads and loads of different parts. So you can have loads and loads of different parts of the unit all throwing grenades. It also has resupply. At the end of your movement phase, if an infantry unit from your army is within this terrain feature, you can select 1 friendly vehicle model that is wholly within 3 inches of this terrain feature and equipped with any weapons that can be shot once per battle. So select one of those weapons. If that weapon has already been shot within this battle, it can be shot 1 additional time. Each vehicle model can only be affected by this ability once per battle. Then we've got the Conservators, which I haven't got to hand, but I do own them. But these are, a new box has been released with these parts in it, but it is not a new terrain element. In This terrain data sheet consists of the servo hauler, one servo welder, one haulage trailer. You have to set up all three of the terrain features, not just one. Servo hauler can be set up towing the hauler trailer. The hauler trailer connected to the servo hauler is shown over leaf. There you go. In addition, the haulage trailer can be equipped with up to 2 storm bolters. If these terrain features are on your battlefield, use the terrain category, the terrain traits below, blah, 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 blah. So, the terrain traits are, terrain categories, it's an obstacle, and the traits are the servo hauler and servo welder are heavy cover, light cover, and unstable position. The haulage trailer is exposed position, light cover, and scalable. And then on narrative play abilities, you can use the storm bolters, which are on top of the container that's being dragged. It also has movable cover, which basically means, you know, it's on a trailer so it can move. Units excluding vehicle units can attempt the following action. It's described in the core book. Activate hauler action. At the start of your movement phase, one unit from your army that is within 1 inch of the servo hauler terrain feature can perform this action. Roll 1d6. On a 1 to 2, the action is completed at the end of the movement phase. On a 3 up, it is completed immediately. Once completed, you make the normal move of up to 6 inches with this terrain feature, as if it was a vehicle from your army. Okay, there's that. Then we've got the Munitorum armoured containers. Again, I haven't got them to hand, but I do own that terrain. This is old terrain anyway, so the terrain categories are obstacle, it has exposed position, light cover, and is scalable. And in narrative play, it has got the storm bolters ability that was with the Conservators, and it has search container. In your command phase, 1 infantry unit from your army can perform this action if it is within 1 inch of any terrain features from this data sheet. This action is completed at the end of the psychic phase until the unit is, if the unit is still within 1 inch of any of those terrain features, except there are no units, and there are no enemy units excluding aircrafts within engagement range of this feature. If this action is successfully completed, roll 1d6 and then go by the table below. So we've got dangerous xenoform, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Munitorum sinister pattern screwdriver, which is no effect. On 3 to 4, alpha grade ration packs until the end of the battle, add 2 to the leadership characteristics of models in the unit. And then on 5 or 6, it's got Lucius pattern auto targeters. Till the end of the battle, each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack, add 1 to that attack's hit roll. Okay, the final card we've got in the standard terrain data sheets is the Sanctum Administratus. And again, it's got a yellow area line around it. So this may have more information than others, but it doesn't look like it actually. So it has got the pipeway access points. So this is an area terrain. It has breachable, defensible, light cover, obscuring, and scalable. And in narrative play, it has plunging fire. This terrain feature has an upper floor marked in the red key line, which you can see there, which is part of that part there. It's the broken terrain. This is what the model actually looks like. I won't be able to get the whole thing in view here, but it is a very large piece. That red key line it's talking about is just this top part here. Each time you select a target for a ranged weapon, an infantry model on the upper floor is equipped with, you can ignore the lookout sir rule. It also has observation platform, which again has that red key line. Once per battle, if there's an infantry unit from your army on the upper floor, you can call in support artillery. When you do so, select a point on the battlefield that is within 24 inches of the terrain feature and visible to an infantry model from your army that is on the upper floor. And roll a d6 for each unit that is within 3 inches of that point. On a 5 up, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Okay, so that's all of those cards we've gone through. So it also has the tactical terrain data sheet. So these were just standard terrain data sheets. These are tactical. And on these, again, it has more information. So it's got, these have all the different terrain points as well and values. So Munitorum Island containers, again, it gives the same information pretty much, it just has the points. Conservators is 20 points as well. So all of this stuff, it's funny really, it's almost a duplication of the information, except it's got the terrain points on it. There's not a whole lot more. It's got the same terrain abilities, overheated regulator, it's got the same traits, I believe. Let's double check, let's cross check the thermopipes one. So it's got the overheated regulator. It's got the terrain category, which is obstacle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got all the same terrain traits. It's got the same Battlezone keywords. And it's got the same other keywords. So it's like a duplication of cards that we don't, you know, I don't know why we need both sets. If someone, you know, please prove me wrong. If there's a reason for having them separate, then please let me know in the comments. But yeah, this is just the real. Yeah, it appears that other than the points, it's just a duplication of the same information. Okay, so what else have we got? So we saw briefly the abilities card. So again, that goes on about the pipeways, and it also has Battlezone Manufactorum thermopipes. And gives us some more information about that. We've got the Manufactorum Theatre of War. So if you are fighting in an open play or narrative play battle in a Battlezone Manufactorum battle zone, you can also generate a Theatre of War for your battle to take place in. To do so, either agree with your opponent which of the additional rules on the table below you wish to use, or one player can roll 1d6 and consult the table below. So we've got unstable cargo. Each time a unit that has any models on top of a Munitorum armored container or servo hauler being hit by a ranged attack with a blast ability and or a strength characteristic of 7 or more, roll 1d6 after resolving the attack on a 1, it suffers d3 mortal wounds. And then it's got 5 other kind of narrative bits there. And then the final card we've got in here is the agendas. If the battlefield of your crusade battle, so so this is to do specifically with the crusade way of playing the game. If the battlefield on your crusade battle features any Battlezone Manufactorum terrain features, you can select one agenda from blah 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 from below. So you've got to secure the cargo, place beacons, assist in the repairs, and siphon energy. Okay, so I mean, do you actually need these cards? So basically, you already have the information. The information is locked away in your core rule book and in the app. Now, the thing that I don't know if it's going to become available is the thermopipes. You know, is each individual terrain element going to start becoming available in the app? Because if it's not, then you will be losing a little bit of information. But I dare say that within time, these cards, all these cards that you've got out for your games, will eventually become a bit of a drag. I personally don't think you need them. It's interesting information. And I suppose when you first start playing, it's going to help you. But I don't think it's something you're going to refer to on an ongoing basis. Having said that, they're cool, you know. I do like stuff like this generally. I just don't know if it's going to get much use especially for experienced players. But there you go. That's my sort of overview and review of the terrain datasheet cards. So pretty good. If you're new to 40k, certainly take a look at this. They're pretty cheap, and yeah. So basically, it is what it is. If you like the look of them, then they're worth it. But thanks very much for watching, guys. I will catch up with you very shortly with another video where I'll be looking at these mission packs. I'll probably do them separately. Tactical Deployment and Beyond the Veil. Beyond the Veil specifically for Crusade. I'll also be coming back with more reviews throughout the week for Vertigus and all the other terrain that was released at the weekend. So thanks for watching, guys. Much appreciated. I'll see you later.